Traders, a very good evening. We are meeting up after a long time. Apologies for the delay. Welcome to the post-trade analysis video, and in this video I am going to discuss a trade that I had entered last month. I entered somewhere in mid of October. I sailed through it and closed my positions a few days back, 2 to 3 days back. This one was a profitable one, and if you guys remember the previous one that I had encountered a small loss. In this one also there was a chance of collecting some more. However, I waited for the prices to go up, but instead of going up, it came down and hit my stop loss, and then I had no other option than to exit the positions. Apart from this one, we will also be discussing some of the equities whose charts I have been observing for a long time, for around a year. And upon my observation, I have found that on daily time frames, on higher time frames, the price action patterns are very much textbook patterns. On lower time frames, there are a lot of random noises which makes us question our own worth of knowledge, and we blame ourselves if we are going on the right path or not. But on looking at the higher time frames, the picture is very much clear. This point I have mentioned in some other video also, and I thought of mentioning it once more when I saw the charts this week. So let's move on to the screen and look at the charts. And if you guys are watching this on Instagram, you will have a link in the description of this video. There you can navigate to the link and watch the full video. All the best, guys.
For those who are new to this channel, hi, I am Aryan, a noob trader. I have been trading in the Indian markets for the past 4 years. My trades are based solely on technical analysis, which includes price action, chart patterns, support, resistance, and trend lines. Before I proceed further, let me give you guys a standard disclaimer. I am not a SEBI registered analyst. The equities shown in this video are solely for educational purposes. I do not provide any buy or sell levels. Neither do I recommend anyone to trade on my analysis. I have a right to be wrong, and I love being wrong. Please consult your financial advisor before taking any positions. Wishing you a happy trading.
We have come up on the chart, and on this chart I have opened up TCS on 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour time frame, somewhere in the last week of October, when it has breached 3000 levels on, I guess, this day, 25th of October. So it breached 3000 level. 3000 should act as a good support level, as it is a round figure. And also, if you watch the chart on daily time frame, you can see that it has been falling for a long time. See, from 4500 it came down at 4000 levels. At 4000 level it traded for a long time. See this consolidation here. Also 4000 was a round figure, and it acted as a psychological support figure, major psychological support figure. When it was breached, it came down to levels of 3500. This is also a round figure. Then recently it has crossed 3000. It has breached 3000 to the downside, and naturally, as in the previous round figures, 3000 should also act as a support, a good support. Anticipating that, I entered my positions when prices were somewhere around this level, I guess, somewhere around 25, 60, 70. When prices were here, I entered long. Let me mark it with an arrow, and then it will be easy to. Okay, now it's good. Yep. So after I entered it, you can see it has went down decisively, and at the lowest point my loss was around 7000 to 8000, and after that there was a significant rally. This was around 3.5% rally in a single day, this one. Then after that also the rally continued. Why the rally continued? It was a result declaration day. Quarterly results were due, and due to that, and before that, there was short covering, and in this short covering, prices rose up to levels of 3060. Then the earnings were not quite impressive. However, no one was expecting a good earnings from this equity, and so there was a dip. This dip took support at 3000 levels, and at this 3000 level it bounced back, and this time it reached somewhere near 3100. It was points below 3100. Had there been more buying pressure, 3100 should have been breached to the upside. However, at 3100 levels it saw major selling, and in this selling it consolidated for 2.5 days. Then there was a slight breakdown, and on this day when it started coming down at 3030 levels, I thought that I lost all near hopes of it going up, and I am thinking that I took out my capital from this position and deployed in some other equity where I was more bullish and thought that that equity will give me better return than this one. And so that is how I ended up coming out of this position. To mention, when it was somewhere at here, my profit was around 20,000, and when I booked, I could book only 12,000. However, that is a good for after a long losing streak. It feels nice to get something in your pockets, and that is how I ended up. And that is how, and that was all about this trade. Now let me show some of the equities which I have been watching for a long time. I will start with Eternal. Okay, so better I move to daily time frame. On daily time frame, see, when it was coming down, it was coming down in a downward sloping parallel channel. Somewhere here, I saw that this channel has been broken out. It has broken out, and I had anticipated that at this point, that since it has broken down, since it has broken up to the upside, there might be a slight pullback, and this pullback should take support at this one upper level of this parallel channel. Then it should move up and up, not exactly and as I had anticipated, though the movement was quite up to my analysis. After breaking out, it consolidated for a long time, for around 2 months. Then slowly and gradually it started moving up. This was the gap up, and after this gap up, the up move continued. Recently, it has made a high, and in the recent in the upcoming future, I guess we should see prices of 300 levels in Eternal. So the pattern that I wanted to show was this one. See, when prices broke out of this parallel channel, it consolidated and never again it saw prices below that. So that is how we can trade these types of pattern. This is consolidation. Now let me show another equity where I had seen okay, so, before I move on to that equity, let's figure out the percentage return. See, it is approximately 50% return in how many? In around half a year. In half an year, we got a return of 50%. That was the movement in this equity. Now let me show some other equity, and that is Hero Motocorp. Hero Motocorp, I guess I have already shown you the chart. However, let's look at it once again. See, this has seen a very small consolidation, very tight consolidation. Let me bring up, do we have MA? Okay, so this will be good. I have brought up 50-day moving average, that is green one, and red one is 200-day moving average. You can see it was coming down. While this one was coming down, this was in horizontal, so that indicated that potential down move has come to an end. That was seen in price action. Here it consolidated for around 3 months, exactly 3 months it consolidated in this channel. And when it was trading inside this channel, I traded it 2 times. So one here, and both time at the support. I bought one time at MTF and one time at options. I went long in it and I cashed out decent profits. And after that, you can see this is the point of inflection. Let me delete it. See, you can see the 50-day moving average is crossing 200-day moving average to the upside. 50-day moving average is moving up. Earlier it was down. In these parts it was down, but here it has moved up, and so this is a bullish indication. And shortly after that, there was also a breakout of this rectangular box, and after the breakout we can see a slight pullback to retest this level, and after that there was no looking back in prices. How much movement it made? From 4400 it moved up to 5500, that is roughly 25% return in around 1 month. See, in around a month, it gave a massive return of 25%. Now, after that bullish up move, it is consolidating, and I won't be surprised if it comes to retest this 50-day moving average. The next equity that we will be looking at is none other than a banking equity, State Bank of India. In State Bank of India, we can see it has been consolidating for a long time. If we move the chart, I am not willing to move the chart, zoom out the chart. However, I will move on to weekly time frame. Okay, on this weekly time frame, see this consolidation, and this is not the only banking stock that saw consolidation, a huge consolidation from 2024 onwards. Even HDFC Bank was more pathetic. It had consolidated for 3 to 4 years, I guess. Okay, so let's first discuss this SBI. So it was consolidating for a long time. Okay, and in this consolidation range, I traded many times. I used to go long at 800 levels, and when it reached 820, 830, I used to liquidate my positions. This way, I traded twice, and both the times I booked heavy profits. There was a massive return on my capital. Then recently it broke out of this channel, and after breaking out, like in other equities, prices never looked back at these levels. Okay, and the return that it gave from 820 to 900, we can say 13 to 14% return in 1.5 months. Now let's now what equity? Okay, recently I had watched Sipla. Yes, Sipla. Let me show you Sipla. Yes, Sipla. If you guys remember, this was the parallel channel that it was trading into, and on this big green candle, I had anticipated that it has moved up from the support level, and this big green candle indicates bullishness, and this bullishness should end where? When it touches the upper zone of this parallel channel. It did exactly, and it came down, and now it is again at this support level. So is it a good entry? Is it a suitable candidate to go long? Well, that is for that I will leave it to you guys. I will be bringing out more price action detailed patterns in the upcoming videos, so stay tuned to this channel.
That was all about today's report. Please like this video and subscribe the channel to get notifications of latest videos. Bye bye traders. See you in the next report. Adios amigo. Powering off.